So I have a simple project already set up and entered into version control. So I'll show you how to set up a workspace so that I can actually check things in and out. So I'm over here in my Team Explorer. If I go over to Source Control Explorer, I can see I have this version project. Okay, and you can see there's some very simple files there. But as you can see up here, it's not mapped. So this project is not mapped to anything, so I can't actually get at the files and use them locally. What I could do, I could just hit that link and I could set up a mapping for that particular folder. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set up a special workspace for this particular project. So here's the workspace area. So I go to the workspaces, and here I can set up a new workspace just for this project. So hit add, and I'll give the workspace a name. Okay, now here is where I specify the area within Team Foundation Server which will go and get the files for me, where the files reside. So I hit this ellipse button and I can choose which projects I'm interested in. Okay, so I can map the whole of the version project. Might not what we want to do in real life, because you want to keep your workspaces as focused as possible, but I can select the whole project if I want to. And then over on this side is the local folder where the files actually be checked out to, where I can do my work. So I have this thing down here called version control and version. So that's where I want my files to go. So files in this folder in Team Foundation for Server will now be mapped to this folder in my local drive. But if there was a part of the project I knew I wasn't interested in, what I could do, I could set up another mapping within this same workspace. Again, I have to select which project I'm interested in, and say that I know for a fact that I don't need the files that are in the properties folder. Okay, I can select that, and on the right hand side it's clever enough to know that I probably want to have this maintain the same folder structure, so it fills that in for me while it's active. But if I flick that over to cloaked, that means it will not get the files from this folder now. So it'll get me all the files from the folder except from this subfolder, because it's cloaked. If I go into the Advanced tab, I can see some more advanced options for this workspace. I can make it a local or a server workspace. I can have the files have a timestamp of the current date and time, or the date and time of the most recent change set that I have in my area. I can make it a private or a public workspace for the different permissions. I can also add a comment to my workspace if I want to. But that's all I want to do for now, so I'll say OK to that. OK. And OK to that. And that's fine. So now if I change to my control workspace, I have a mapping. So I can see my files here now. In fact, if I go into this link, I jump to the area where my files actually are on my local drive. But if you noticed, it hasn't brought back that folder which I put into the workspace as cloaked. So it hasn't returned that. As far as I'm concerned here, it's invisible to me because I simply don't need the files in that directory. So that's how to set up a mapping between Team Foundation Server and your local drive.